As Chair of the Victorian Anzac Centenary Committee, could you talk about why the Australian-Turkish Memorial or Friendship Memorial Sculpture is important for Victoria?
Well, let me say the Seeds of Friendship Memorial is a fantastic addition to the Domain Reserve, the Shrine Reserve, and it's a symbol of the friendship between Turkey and Australia. It's also, of course, a monument in its own right to the events from the First World War. And clearly, those events have been a significant part of the relationship between Australia and Turkey. And now such great friends, then such great conflict. The memorial itself, the Seeds of Friendship Memorial, is the most delightful sculpture. The two seeds of friendship representing the two sides of the relationship, the seed, the cone of the casuarina from Australia, the cone of the pine from Turkey, there on the floor, surrounded by the fallen leaves, which represent those stories of those fallen in that Dardanelles conflict, and of course the wreath behind it. And the memorial has been embraced already by Victorians and visitors alike, and we do hope that it will be embraced even more.
Thank you. And as an architect, how would you describe the memorial in terms of meeting the stated aims of education, commemoration, friendship and cultural connections?
Well, I can tell you, as an architect, not just as a former Premier, but as an architect, the memorial works brilliantly. It brings together both sides in terms of the two seeds, the casuarina and the cone. It brings a wreath of memorial together, and the stories of Ataturk and Charles Bean, and the commentary from a family that lies on that floor beneath the cones as if they're fallen leaves from the pine trees. That in itself speaks volumes for the memorial and speaks volumes for the relationship. And the wonderful thing about the Seeds of Friendship is that it's been embraced by everybody who's seen it, and it's been embraced almost immediately. And the way people have placed poppies on the wreath is a spontaneous reaction and a wonderful reaction, and it actually makes the whole memorial an interactive, albeit a passive interaction. It makes it an interactive sculpture. People want to place a poppy on it. People want to stand under the wreath and have a photograph taken. That brings people together. It brings Australians and Turks together, and it represents exactly what we're trying to achieve with this sculpture. And I take my hat off to Matt Harding and his team, and to Serta and Elizabeth for the work they've done in producing this. It's a fabulous addition to the Shrine Reserve and the Domain Reserve.
Okay, and just lastly, what was your personal involvement in the project, and what did you personally get out of the project?
Well, I've been pleased as Chairman of the Victorian Anzac Centenary Committee to support this project and to ensure that the state government was able to contribute some funding for it, and to assist in mapping out some of the parameters to make sure that it worked and covered all the bases. And I think Serta and Elizabeth have done a great job in ensuring that the brief for Matthew did just that. So I've been very pleased to be able to be a part of that and to maintain that relationship right through, and to watch the sculpture emerge over the last few months has been wonderful, and to actually stand and indeed kneel beside Matt on occasions as he was working and talk to him about the sculpture. The sculpture is fundamentally interactive. Those who see it want to touch it, those who see it want to put a poppy on it, those who see it want to have the photograph taken under the wreath, those who see it want to sit or at least touch the two large seeds there. It works in exactly the way we might have hoped it would work. And one other way we hope it will work is that it will present an opportunity for Australians, Turks, and visitors alike to treat it not just as a piece of sculpture, but somewhere that they can actually participate. And perhaps on a daily basis, those who had relatives who served in the Dardanelles in the First World War may choose to have their own intimate, private dawn services at the Seeds of Friendship Memorial. And that might be on every day of this year, 2015 particularly, which might mark the day of a loved one's arrival or participation in the conflict at the Dardanelles, perhaps a wound or tragically a death. Not everybody arrived on April the 25th, not everybody left on that day in December, but plenty of dates in between, and families might like to use this memorial as a way of marking the centenary of those particular events. But the memorial stands in most as a friendship memorial, and I think that's how it's going to be used and how we wish it to be used.
Great, I appreciate your time, thank you.
Got enough?
Yeah,
You cut
that's
that
great.
up as you see fit?
Yep, I'll just